There we go. It's the details that do the thinking. So we will begin just breathing. Let's do that. Just let your eyelids relax. Just bringing your awareness to your breath, noticing that you are indeed breathing. And send some gratitude to your breath. Thank you, breath. It is the breath that anchors the soul into this vessel. It's the breath that energizes your cells, your body, the systems within your body. And now just exhale. Take a deep breath in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. And one more deep breath into your belly. Inhale. And exhale, settling in. And just allow your breath to find its natural rhythm. And I invite you to be mindful of taking full inhales and just pause at that place betwixt and between the breath. And create a space between the top of the inhale and the exhale. And then when you get to the bottom of the exhale, pause. Create a space there. And then lean into the next breath in. You create a rhythm, a flow. All right, and if you would like to stand, in the directions, we'll face the wall with the beautiful tapestry of the sunrise facing the east. Bringing your awareness to your feet, imagining the roots coming from the bottom of your feet, connecting you to your Earth Mother. And imagine a beam of light coming down to the crown of your head, connecting you to your Sky Father. Grandmothers, guardians of the east where the sun rises, the time of spring, bursting with blooms, new ideas, new birth, new life, daring to dream a new dream, to create something new. Welcome. And turn to your right. Grandmothers, guardians of the south, the summertime where we laugh, we play, we dare to love. We stay up late, we sleep in, we flow with the currents that nurture our inner fire that is the soul. remembering how important it is to play, to laugh, and to love. Welcome. And turn to your right. Grandmothers, guardians of the West. The time of autumn leaves falling to the ground, letting go, creating space, and preparing, reminding us to reflect and count our blessings and be grateful. The waters will cleanse and purify, washing our tears away. Welcome. And turn to your right. The grandmothers, guardians of the North, the elders. The place we call death, that is the betwixt and between, a time of wisdom and discernment and clarity and love. Compassion for our own soul and the souls of all the others we encounter. Welcome. Above Father Sky, in all of your vastness and mystery and wonder, and below Mother Earth, in your abundance, your love and your nurturing, and the Creator, the great mystery within, expressing through us, interconnecting us to all that is. The Creator that expresses through you is not something separate from you. Welcome. We will play some instruments now. If you got a drum or rag. And just setting the intention of allowing. My words for 2024 were surrender and allow. Surrender and allow. And it's something I do every day. It's a practice, sometimes several times a day. Right? So maybe you have a word. That's something I don't do at New Year's resolutions. I ask for a word that will be kind of the theme for the year, right? And then I look for those little opportunities. So if you want to set an intention of maybe allowing or whatever word comes up for you, because the intention you set when we're playing the drum, especially together or even by yourself, the drum amplifies that. And we are also in eclipse season. So everything is amplified. That's why it's not surprising to me that a collective of people are having different experience. Some are really tired. Some are feeling really energized. Whatever you're feeling is right for you. But working with the medicine of the drum can support you and move you through whatever you're feeling, right? So we'll start with just a 4-beat like we do. 1, 2, 3. Hey, the earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Hey ya, oh ya, hey ya, ya. Hey ya, oh ya, hey ya, ya. And express some gratitude to your drum, spirit of your drum, and your spirit. The two of you have merged, bonded through song, music, and we'll slow it down. So we're getting to a stop for red. I don't know about you guys, but the last verse really felt all over my body. We must take care of her. So the word that I like to use is stewardship. We aren't homeowners, we're not landowners, we're stewards of the land that we get to be the stewards of, that we get to reside on. And when you approach things in that manner, you'd be surprised how the spirits of the land support you. Even if you just got a small patch of grass, be mindful of it wasn't always just a small patch of grass, right? I am going to share something with you this morning that I felt inspired to read, and then I'm going to get out of the way. When I was inspired to co-create the New Moon Shamanistic Sanctuary, the word at the end, sanctuary, I wanted that, but the other word that kept coming to me was academy. I'm a teacher. I love to teach, and I love to learn. I'm always hungry for, like, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know. Like frogs that freeze and then are dead and then come back to life. Like, it's just all so beautiful. And I'm finding it, of course, it's not all in a book, right? It's finding the experiences, and then, but I love to experience things in many different ways. And I have found that when we practice being in alignment, when we practice being online, if you will, which is through meditation, through what I call a shamanic way of being, it's in harmony with all that is. When I practice that, I tend to get information from somewhere else. And this is my method. This is how spirit works with me. And then I'll pick up a book and then I'll find, like, oh, I wasn't the first person to think of that. This has been known. And I read a lot. Amy does too. That's kind of how we bonded. We're both nerds. And you learn to feel it in your body, what is just, somebody wrote a book, and then and the things that resonate, that feel like the truth. So I always share with you, it's never my intention to tell you what to think, feel, or believe. It's my desire to inspire you. And I want to teach you. I want to teach you practices and things to consider that have supported me on my life's journey. And create a space for you to remember. And remembering is coming back together. When we're born, we know what we know all the things, but then we start forgetting. And it's designed that way. There's nothing wrong. So I'm going to read something to you, and we're going to kind of start a series here because I'm now working on my dissertation for my PhD in parapsychology. And the things that I'm finding, I'm studying right now Native American spirituality. And it's not just confined to Native Americans. Native Americans are the last known culture that practiced these indigenous ways. That's why we have so much information in writing, and we still have people alive, of course. But that's getting further and further apart. I believe that people that are drawn to a place like the New Moon Shamanistic Sanctuary are seeking themselves, seeking something that is bigger, that feels natural, not shaming or like you have to have a membership card to get inside. Tesla. No, wrong man. Never mind. You got me thinking music today, Amy. We'll have time. Yeah. Okay. Everywhere there's signs. And you know, my signs these days, I got to share this on the way here, Brad and I have to look it up because this is my news. This is how I get my news. We are driving here and it's like, what, 8:30 in the morning, Brad? And randomly there's a goose just standing in a field by himself. Just a random goose. So we both notice there's a goose. Okay. And then we drive a little further and there's a duck sitting in somebody's driveway, a random duck. Okay. Foul. Foul showing up. So when I get home, I'm going to look up the, what's the message here? Because that's how I live. And people are like, well, that's my daughter. One of my girls' mom, it's just a duck. Well, to her it is. But when you start living in harmony, you start paying attention. Because if you were up here and looking down, you would see a web of energy. It's all interconnected, energetically. All of it. All of it. Even the spirit realm. It's not us and them, I promise you. So I'm going to read something to you, probably each week. I think we're going to kind of start a series here. And it is around the concept of initiations. In shamanism, if you've worked with me, you know I don't really love using the word trauma. I think a trauma is a word we've been given. It's a perception of an event. It was a trauma. And I'm calling it a trauma because I think it shouldn't have happened. I'm not accepting. I got to label it. It was a trauma. And I know that we all have events that we perceive as traumatic. I'm not saying that we don't have events that change us. But see, I call them initiations, right? Instead of a trauma. A trauma puts me in a wounded box. Can't change what happened, I'm traumatized. And then I start using that as my excuse. Can't change it. Maybe I don't know any better, but now I do. And everything that I used to perceive as a trauma, I now see as an initiation. How does it become what's the difference? If you learn from it. If you can step up here and look at the bigger picture, radical acceptance. And I don't stand up here as someone that has had a lot of rainbows and butterflies. That's why I know it's all designed. When I watch nature, that frog could say, y'all might have not been here when I told the frog story. I watched a nature show that had a frog that it's part of what it does in the wintertime. It goes under the leaves and it freezes. It freezes solid. Its brain activity stops. Its heart stops. Its blood, everything is frozen solid. And then in the spring, it falls out and hops away. That sounds traumatic, right? But it's natural. It's an initiation. You survive that, you get to move on. And you're expanded. A trauma keeps me contracted. I'm not expanding, I'm contracted. But if I look at it as an initiation, what did I learn from this? And maybe I learned that I can survive just about anything. In shamanism, we call things that happen in life that are big, dark night of the soul. And when you're in it, you don't want to hear any of what I'm saying. It's, no, this. And I've had mine. Everything fell away. My home, my marriage, my kids left, my dog left, like everything. Dark night of the soul, or was it a trauma? Well, I chose to look at it as a dark night of the soul. Doesn't mean it didn't suck at the time, but I knew there was going to be light at the end of the tunnel. I knew that when everything falls away, what are we going to create in its place? What are we going to co-create? And I didn't know right away. We don't like to suffer. The human condition does not like to suffer. So I didn't want to deal with it for a long time. And we look for things to numb out, right? Escapism, it's a human nature. whatever we label it as, addiction, whatever, it's natural. But when we get tired, when it stops working, then we can get to that place of, oh, what did this teach me? I know what my things taught me was I was the common denominator. All the things that were happening, I was the common denominator in a lot of the chaos, right? And so I started feeling empowered. Like if I'm the common denominator, then I can be a co-creator. See, I don't even call myself a survivor anymore. I'm a co-creator because I can see with every initiation that I perceived as traumatic gave me opportunities. And I've also come to understand that we're all souls on different parts of the wheel of life. And so people that harmed me were in a different part of the wheel. For me to expect them to be law-abiding citizens to laws that aren't even natural laws, when I look at it from a bigger perspective, it doesn't even make sense. So I can start looking at things like, karmic relationships, soul contracts, love's the answer. And again, when you're in it, none of that sounds wonderful. But I found that is where my expansion started happening instead of the contraction. Other approaches kept me contracted, kept me in the box of the event, kept me fragmented, kept me from remembering bringing the members of my body back together because I was still believed I was a result of the event. And I understand that energetically we carry things through lifetimes with us, but I also understand to transcend that is radical acceptance, followed by some practices of forgiveness and a practice of lots of other effort. I don't like the word work anymore, it's effort. Where are you going to put your energy? Effort is energy. Where are you going to put it? Where energy goes, where attention goes, energy flows. Thank you. So am I going to put my energy in justifying my event of why I'm this way, or can I put my energy in looking at that event as an initiation? An initiation into what? Expansion. Because things I've gone through that you haven't gone through expanded my capacity to comprehend. Does this make sense? I said I was going to read something, and I am.
You're setting it up.
I am. I don't even know if this has anything to do with what I've said, though, to be honest with you. Since the late 1500s, with the coming of the conquistadors, practicing the spirituality of our ancestors was punishable by death. So whether you're Native American or not, you likely have been suppressed at some point in the last 100 years. And we're very far removed from our indigenous practices. That's why so many of us feel lost. We're following someone else's map. Native Americans north and south of the border between the United States and Mexico were forced to keep spiritual ceremonies secret and our ancient wisdom out of the hands of those who would misuse that information. In the United States, the ceremonies of Native Americans were officially banned for over 100 years. In Mexico, the torture rendered by church officials and political regimes was present until 1989. That's 2 years before my daughters were born. I had no idea of any of this in 1989. I only knew of one option of spirituality, and it didn't fit me. I tried to get the membership card. And I came from a world that also, my mother was a mystic, and we had practices that were, and I remember needing to be secretive. I remember having to be secretive. Like, I still don't get to know my neighbors because my mom's like, it's not safe. We're not that far removed to even be allowed to gather like this and drum and sing and have someone else talk that's not reading from a specific doctrine. Finally, the 9 hells ended in January of 1997. Now it's time to share the wisdom that my teachers taught me, that my teachers teach me, and that's what I have been inspired to do, is share, because what I hear so often from people is that they feel alone, they feel different, they feel misunderstood. And I want to encourage you to trust yourself. We've talked about courage and awareness and patience and endurance. Understanding that, let me reframe. I want you to consider that it's not a mistake that we are told that life should be a certain way, so we're disappointed when it's not. I want you to think about love for a minute, and you are love. You are love. If you have forgotten that, I'm reminding you, you are love. And we are always, let me reframe. I have often looked outside of myself for love because I forgot I was love. And I would go to places looking for love. Please love me. I'll be so nice to you. Please love me. And I constantly was seeking and approval and acceptance. And I forgot that it was within me. And so when I meet you, I can tell you, I love you. I love you. I don't need anything from you. I don't need you to be on. I don't need you to be happy. I don't need you to be non-toxic. I love you. I have even practiced with my own efforts to extend that love to those that have harmed me. Because I don't want to, again, these initiations that I've experienced, when I start realizing, oh, this is another initiation, it changes the whole approach. Instead of, this shouldn't be happening. That's contracting. This shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't have happened to me. That's contracting. This is happening to me. I'm here for it. What am I going to learn? It sucks. What's coming up? Am I falling apart? Dark night of the soul. Can I trust this? Yeah. I know every one of you in here has had a dark night of the soul. Or more than one. Let me reframe that. There are several. There's the emotional dark night of the soul. There's the physical dark night of the soul. There's the spiritual and the mental. It's a lot of darkness, isn't it? And that's what we're here for. We are the light. So think about that. When you have completely come apart, nothing bad happened to you. You were being expanded. But that comes with the allowing, the surrender and allow. Because if I keep fighting with what is in my mind, that's taking up your life force energy. It's not the event anymore. It's the mind. And the mindset is more important than what the mind is set on. And I've had some radical acceptance. Again, I'm not standing up here saying, oh, it happened, get over it. I get it. But changing my mindset is what shifted, not what my mind was set on. So, dark nights of the soul, initiations. That's what, when you start feeling that, and I invite you to practice that, maybe in journaling or words when you're at home alone or in meditation. Think of something that you've been through. I know you all have it because you know I'm all about not getting in contests about who's had a bigger trauma. We all have been here for different experiences. It's part of the human, it's part of the soul experience, dark nights of the soul. This is what we do each lifetime. But see, it's both and. This is how we expand, is through the experiences of contrast. Because in the ethereal world, when we're souls up there, not in human form, there is no polarity. So we come here for the polarity so we can expand and experience and learn. The leading edge of thought is what Abraham Hicks calls it. Humans are on the leading edge. So when I am feeling disturbed, you'll heard me say that someone's not performing the way I want them to, or the universe is not performing the way I want it to. But if I start reframing the way I look at things, it supports me through the dark night of the soul. I know there's light at the end of the tunnel. There always has been. There's no bottom. When you feel like you're falling, there's no bottom. I know this for every one of you because you're sitting here.
Tell me springboard.
Exactly. I mean, there is no, like you're not gonna, spirit is gonna get you every time. There's no bottom. You're all sitting here. You have survived everything you've been through. And then survival is not just about staying alive. We won't get into that. But this is just, so I'm not going to go into this either, but here's something that came in to me in my meditation this past week. And this is a deep hole to go down. How our DNA and such is how our ancestors express through us. I know. It's like we're all interconnected. Within every one of us is all of us. And within all of us is you. And within you is all of us. Right?
A holographic projection.
Yeah. Like we can, science can tell us like this is the, but no one can explain like the depth. We are so much more than our problems. They're just distractions. And again, I'm not minimizing. Emotions are energy. And we forget, and our emotions can run us when we forget that all is well and it's all part of the big all that is. And you are important. You are an important part of it. Your energy, your frequency is more important than money. That's a big one for everyone, money. Your mindset is more important than what your mind is set on. Your mindset about money is more important than money. If you're worried about it, that's more important than going out and making more. Where are you going to put your energy? Just a moment. So I invite you to try on different words because they have different frequencies and they can free you. I've had a lot of initiations. I have overcome a lot of initiations. I've survived a lot of initiations. I've expanded a lot in this lifetime because I come to understand that people that have a lot of initiations came here on the fast track. You are a soul that decided to get here to be, I want to be able to help as many people as I can, so I'm going to go through some stuff. I want to be relatable, so I'm going to go through some things to relate to people. I don't know who I'm here to serve, so I might need to experience some things, right? And now I look at it, the more things I've been through, the more people I can help. It's like a resume, right? Or I can trauma bond, and then we stay contracted. Overcoming any dark night of the soul is about awareness and raising your vibration, supporting yourself through it, not figuring it out, not solving it. You're not broken, and you're not a problem to be solved. Ever. Any questions around any of us? Does it resonate? I'm going to throw something out there, and I'm hesitant because this is being recorded, but you know. I feel that a lot of the conditions that we've been told we have because of our experiences is to feed a bigger machine. Plural, machines. I think when we feel broken, when we feel disempowered, when we feel traumatized, when we feel disconnected, when we feel not divine, we're not in our power. And that benefits other entities. So I invite you, if nothing else, just to be spiteful. Bless you.
Excuse me.
Yeah, gesundheit. Yeah. Trying on different words, looking at your experiences that affected you. I'm not saying that things don't affect us. I have been, I've also come to understand I'm not the things that happened to me. I saw a thing that sticks and stones can break my bones, words will never hurt me unless I believe them. Unless I believe them. So when people start telling me what I am, no. I am divine. I'm a divine creation. I am here on purpose. I'm here to expand. So try on the words. It's an initiation. That was a dark night of the soul. Wow. I see that now. And I see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I might see where I tried so hard holding on and resisting the dark night of the soul that I just prolonged the beautiful light at the end of the tunnel. I bet a lot of you can see that, like fighting so hard to keep things the way they were. Because I was just scared to go into the dark, but then they fell apart anyway. And I'm like, whoa, I'm so glad that didn't work out, right? I really tried so hard to keep that. Oh, I did survive it. And look at these blessings and the people that showed up at the right time. And the more in alignment you are, the easier you start noticing those energetic breadcrumbs through your dark nights of the soul. So an emotional dark night of the soul can happen when someone really close to you passes. It's not about how good am I in my practice. I won't have to know. You're going to come apart. And then how are you going to support yourself? You're going to notice those people and then light those little torches to get you through until you get to the end of the dark tunnel, into the light. Expanded, wiser.
So would you consider a dark night of the soul to be so far removed from your soul's true essence that you're forced to remember what it is?
Yes, it kind of brings you to your knees, if you will. Yeah. And again, it's what we come here for. Yeah, to expand. That's why people say when they go to prison, like people always find God in prison. And I understand that it's because they sat still. They got still with themselves. They couldn't run from themselves. They couldn't numb. I mean, I know they can numb in prison, but some choose not to.
So that happened from an external force rather than an internal force, but they both play upon each other.
Usually the external forces force the internal change. It forces us to change. It forces us to, when someone close to you dies, it forces you to change. And again, it's in the resistance that the suffering is, that's where the suffering is. So Buddha says suffering is attachment. We could say I'm attached to the person, but it's also resisting the process, resisting the coming apart. And it's natural. Nobody likes to come apart. It's literally a dismemberment. Like you feel like you're being ripped apart when, right? A dark night of the soul is no joke. And it can last more than one night. I need to clarify that. It usually does. It can go on for years, but how long it goes on is kind of up to you.
I think a prison is just a direct reflection of yourself. You're creating that prison.
Yep.
And then when you're forced to look at it, you are actually in prison because you created that situation. That's when you realize the power you have.
Yes.
That nothing will constrain you.
Yeah. That's that I'm the common denominator. Yeah. I was in a jail cell when I had that realization. And I was in a jail cell when I heard that voice that I had not heard in a really long time. Because I was forced to sit still. And there was no one left to blame. I had spent many lifetimes blaming, and it was like, whoa. And so I was forced, sit your ass still. And it was all divinely orchestrated. But at the time, I didn't think so. I did not think so. Yeah, but I can see that now. Again, so now when things are falling apart, it doesn't mean that I don't have emotions. Emotions are natural. But I know how to support myself through them. I'll drum, I'll sing, I'll change my wording. I'm not gaslighting myself, I'm expanding. Yeah. We can also observe when others are going through dark nights of the soul. And they may be in resistance, and that's okay. Like, let people be where they are. They don't need to be fixed. They don't need to be solved. Any questions? I like this.
The dark night of the soul was actually part of human growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's Carl
Yeah.
And it's usually in your 30s when it happens, which I thought was interesting.
Yes, it can happen.
At any time.
Yes, different, the mental, spiritual, physical, and emotional can happen at different, the emotional can happen when we're young children, like a divorce or something can happen, or it can happen when we're older. Some children have dark nights of the soul that have really, and again, looking at that, oh, I had a bad childhood. No, you had your dark night early. You had your dark night early, because I promise you that, like Sally Sue over here, that seems like she's had the best childhood. Her parents have been married forever and she's got everything. She's going to have her dark night of the soul just later. She's going to go through the mental dark night of the soul, but you might have went through yours when you were 5. But again, we are limitless. You're not just here for this lifetime if you are open to considering that. So if you're 5, it doesn't really mean you're 5. You likely you're on your expansion. So older souls come here to get things done faster, right? Yeah. So the different souls, so absolutely. And we can have more, we're constantly expanding. So we can have, but usually in one lifetime, not always, but often in one lifetime, we'll have one for each. Mental, physical, spiritual, emotional.
Yeah, the frogs even go through their dark night of the soul.
That's right. Everything in nature does.
They go dark and then they expand out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even when you see the little animals on the side of the road, like some mystics believe animals just pop right back in, like they pop out and they pop back in. I'm not sure. I do talk to them and they don't have the answer. So the animals, like it's just, but I can tell you they are not afraid of death like we are. It is not something to resist or to even fear, but they feel our fear around it. But yeah, it's all part of the beautiful design. And this idea that we've been conditioned from a wee little age that life is supposed to be a certain way, it's not realistic. It's a fairy tale. But when we start looking at it from a higher perspective of expansion and growth and experience and love and creating and laughing and sensing, we're born and we forget because we start relying on our 5 human senses. We forget about our main sense. But again, that's part of the expansion. Yeah. Expand. You're growing. And that's what when someone tells me they're hurting, I'm like, I know, and it's growing pains. It's growing pains. You're growing. And I'm here for it. I invite you to be here for it. It's in the resistance that we get stuck. You're never, ever alone. Never alone. You have cooperative components. Again, the spirit realm and the 3-dimensional realm are one and the same to me. It's not separate. So even if you feel alone, you are not. And if you don't have any humans in your life that are up there, comforting you, I want you to consider that's on purpose. Spirit is giving you an opportunity to hit your knees, so to speak, to surrender. Right? It's a big word. Surrender. I do it every day, on a daily basis. Because why? Because it doesn't stick. I'm human experience. I'll surrender and then I'll take it back. And then I'll surrender and I'll take it back. And some things have claw marks in them. But with practice, I get better at doing it quicker and quicker. And I get really good at recognizing when I'm not surrendering. Especially with those adult children. Surrender. Right? I don't know what she needs. I surrender. I surrender. But see, that goes against what I was taught. I was told that I'm her mother and I'm responsible for her happiness and her wellness and her joy. And I call BS. Because I tried that and it didn't fit. And I've come to understand that when things don't feel like they fit, it's because it's unnatural. Things I've been taught are unnatural. I understand that's why everyone's anxious and depressed and lost, because we're living in an unnatural way that for over 100 years we've not been allowed to live. Put your bare feet on the ground, sing, dance. Every culture drummed and sang and danced. Every one of them. So when someone comes in here and they pick up a drum for the first time, because that's within all of us. Every culture drummed and danced and sang. Did you ever drum and dance and sing before you were older? I mean, maybe as little children, yeah. It's
Not in a community.
right. And being allowed to just
Playing with friends, maybe. And having the mindset that it was just play.
yeah.
It wasn't meaningful.
Just play, exactly. It's not meaningful. When we get, oh, I don't have time to play. Who has time for that? Your soul needs that. Again, this is not a mistake that we are too busy. Even when I hear it all the time, like I make myself a priority these days, but I hear it all the time in conversations. I'm too busy. I didn't have time. I didn't have time. Or I was too tired because I was too busy from all the things. And I get tired. Energy is I get tired. I get that. But y'all get what I'm saying. We get so busy, and that's unnatural. Indigenous cultures were cyclical as well. This is the time they got busy right now, this time of year. It's an exciting time of year. Amy, are you planting so many things?
I started my seeds yesterday.
Yeah. So I'm winding down. I'm going to wind down. We're going to do a song, and then we'll get ready and close. And the soup is a roasted vegetable, so it's more of an autumn soup, but I hadn't made it yet for Sanctuary. It's got sweet potatoes, sweet onion, and carrots, and vegetable broth. There's no cream or anything in it. So, really good. And there's sourdough bread to like dip in it. Good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're gonna do a song, and it's not in the book because I just learned it. Eric, you may know it because Holly sent it to me one time. And it says, earth my body, water my blood, air my breath, fire my spirit. Bringing in all the elements. The elements have spirit. The elements are what our life force, right? And again, we light a lighter, we turn on a faucet, we stay indoors, we wear shoes. We are disconnected from all the elements most of the time. Do you love sitting in front of a fire? Like you just get lost in that. Can you imagine doing that every night? Every night, sitting around a fire. What that does to your, at the end of a day. Like it's part of what we're made of. So when we don't sit in front of a fire, maybe we suffer a little bit. Maybe we get anxious. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. But I refuse to believe that it's because of things that happened in my past that I can't change. I am empowered, and my power is in creation, the elements, the earth, all of that. Spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. Earth, my body, water, my blood, air, my breath, and fire, my spirit. nice guided visualization or journey. And just let your eyelids relax. Bringing your awareness to your breath. And I invite you all to say out loud, I call back my power.
I call back my power.
Very good. Allow yourself to just settle in, and with each exhale, allowing yourself to relax a little bit deeper. I'm going to count you down from 20 to 1. And as we descend, you will get a little more relaxed and open. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you to imagine yourself standing in a meadow, barefoot, under a blue sky with white clouds. As you are looking up at the sky, you start feeling the air changing. Create a story in your mind with either pictures or words, creating the scene. What color flowers are in the field? What kind of trees are surrounding? Are there any birds in the sky? Make it up as you go along, or just allow it to unfold naturally, whatever way works for you. Allow yourself to feel the air is changing and the sky is growing darker. The wind is picking up and you hear the distant rumble of thunder. The hair on the back of your neck stands up and you feel a sense of energy. A little nervousness and maybe a little fear of the storm that is moving in. You aren't sure how long the storm will last, and you're not sure how much damage the storm will cause. So you decide to speak to the spirit of the storm, trusting that the spirit of the storm has a message for you, for it is a natural part of nature. It belongs here. It is not to be feared. You call out, Spirit of the storm, share your wisdom with me. And allow coming down hard, and it feels like little pins on your skin, waking you up, making you feel alive. The lightning flashes, illuminating everything. And in that flash of lightning, you see more than you have ever seen in the three-dimensional. You are feeling alive. You are feeling like you are connecting with the storm. It is not here to hurt you, it is here to wake you up. Listen. The rain is starting to lighten up. The clouds are moving fast as the wind is blowing them by. You feel the air changing again. And you breathe in and you can smell the freshness behind the rain. Everything smells renewed. And everything looks so green. It's just been washed and cleansed. The dark clouds are moving by, and you look up and you see the most magnificent rainbow you have ever seen. Only to be shadowed by a double rainbow. You are mesmerized. You feel from the inside out that you have been transformed by standing in the storm. You look around and the landscape has changed a bit. The storm has left its mark. And even in the way that things have been changed, they are just offering new life now. You feel gratitude for the storm and the blue skies that follow always. You reflect on all the storms that you have endured, your metaphorical storms in life. And you express gratitude. You will carry with you the lesson, the wisdom of the spirit of the storm, or it will teach you how to endure, how to expand, how to grow, how to be cleansed and renewed after. You say thank you to the sky, to Mother Earth. Thank you for this human experience. And take a deep breath in and let it go. I'm going to count from 1 to 5. When I get to 5, you will be ready to open your eyes, feeling refreshed, restored, and renewed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come back into the room. Move your fingers and toes. Are there any announcements?
I get my handpan drum in the next few days.
Exciting. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
Will you be bringing it?
Yeah. As long as you guys play it too.
What is it now?
As long as you guys play it too.
What do you?
It's a 22-inch handpan drum.
Okay, that when you said that's the 22-inch answered my question. I'm like, what do you? Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's going to be in C minor.
Wow.
There are 11 notes on it. So. Yeah, I'm going to be learning how to play that.
Yeah.
And composing some songs.
Very good. I look forward to that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I am still looking for some spaces that we can use that will be outside as we're moving into spring and summer. So if anybody has any suggestions, if you could send me a message. I'd like to stay in Bullitt County, but we'll see what shows up. Any celebrations? Any birthdays? No? Everyone good? Go ahead. Was you going to say something?
Oh,
no. Okay. No.
Not yet, anyway.
I want to thank you all for being here today, too. You know, sometimes I've learned, too, for my own self, sometimes showing up for myself means doing things I don't always feel like doing, but I know that it's necessary, and listening to that. I always trust, Amy and I were talking about that, I always trust, like, who shows up each Sunday is not my business. And I have to practice that, because I'll get it in my head like, oh, Brad will see me looking out the door, you know. and it's a practice that I always trust that you, and I celebrate you for listening, because I know it's a Sunday and getting up and getting out, like, I get it. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us for us.
Thank you. So we will close the directions and we will bless the food and we will eat and come back to our circle. Grandmothers, guardians of the East, we thank you. Grandmothers, guardians of the South, we thank you. Grandmothers, guardians of the West, we thank you. And grandmothers, guardians of the North, we thank you. Above Father Sky, below Mother Earth, the Creator within, we thank you. And then I'll bless the food with grateful hearts, very, very grateful hearts. We bless this food and receive it for the nourishment, the healing, and the restoration of our bodies, receiving it in its highest energy form and honoring its journey to this table. Thank you.
Pass the basket.
Oh, I forgot the basket. Brad, actually, if you want to just set the basket up there on the table, Brad has the basket up on the table, and you can just, if you want to leave a donation, that would be great. It is greatly appreciated, and will be put towards the sanctuary's events and growth as we expand as well.